Hey everybody, Steve Basic Architect here from the Build Show Network. We're out here at the Ranch Remodel again. As you can see, we're in the kitchen. All the cabinets have been installed. The countertops have been installed. I'd say we're probably about 85–90% of the way there. We still have some backsplash to do, some little bit of tile work. But today we're going to talk about kitchen planning and the floor plan of this kitchen, how it's laid out, why I made some of the decisions that I made, how I worked with the client, and we talked through a series of those decisions. So, like any kitchen today, most of them are anchored by a good size island. So this one here, it's 10 foot plus by 4 foot plus. That's 40 square feet of surface area. Beautiful big working surface. I know a lot of people, when they're doing kitchen designs, they want to kind of muddy the waters, add a sink, add a steamer, put the cooktop out here. For me personally, I like the giant spread of just basically a big work table in the kitchen. So laying this one out and working through things with the client, we basically have what I would call the cooking zone, right? So we have this L-shaped zone for the cook. We have the refrigerator, the stove, and then the sink right there. So everything's just a couple steps away for the cook here to be able to manage and work very efficient. And again, having that 40 square foot work surface right behind allows you to clean and prep and then stage stuff for cooking, get stuff out of the refrigerator, all of that good stuff. As we walk through here, you notice we have our door to the outside here. That gets us out to the deck so we can bring stuff out, get stuff off the grill, bring it in here. We have our secondary station here with a second sink and another dishwasher so that if someone's working over there, we have a whole nother station where people can do some cleaning and prepping or washing dishes and cleaning it all up. Got a nice set of windows there so that this person isn't staring at the wall either. These are all those tilt-turn triple glazed windows. They match the rest of the house. And then over here, we have this whole zone here. You can see where we have the ovens and then some auxiliary space here where we have some additional cabinetry. But the ovens, I like to put the ovens kind of not necessarily as an orphan, but I don't have a problem putting them off to the side in the kitchen because really the duty when it comes to an oven is you open it, you put something in, chances are that something is probably going to sit in there for 45 minutes to an hour, however long it is. So the fact that it's not right next to the stove or that, I don't think is that important. And the beauty is too, is again, you drop this, you pull something out, one step away, we got this giant work surface here. So that island, the size of that island, there's a real benefit to the fact that it gets spread all around. And then lastly, not only do we have a real beautiful kitchen here, but we have the little ante-space or pantry. This one's kind of a working pantry, not a storage pantry. You can see there's more cabinetry in here. We got a nice window, but we also have some other devices in here. We got our microwave oven. We have a steamer here. We're going to have a wine cooler here. We have a second little bar sink here. We'll have a little coffee maker space here. So the pantry becomes kind of a little ante-space to the kitchen. Then of course, like some of the other rooms, we opted to put the rain glass door on there so that we can see basically through the window. We get a little bit of intrigue with those windows or that glass there in the doors between. But let's go back to the studio. We'll break out the floor plan. We'll talk a little bit more about kitchen design and how this all laid out. And I'll see you back at the studio.
Hey everybody, so we're out at that job site. Ranch Remodel's wrapping up. When you start putting in kitchen cabinets, and one of those things where it's kind of an all-time high, but all-time low at the same point. It's all-time high because getting really exciting stuff. Get to see all those fur cabinets getting installed, all that good stuff. But you're at an all-time low because the project end is just around the corner. We have to turn it over to the homeowner, and they get to do their things. But anyway, without skipping a beat, let's jump into some drawings, and let's talk about what we were thinking about when we were planning out this kitchen. So, and how we plan out a kitchen like this. So let's dive into the drawings. Of course, Big Red is here to join us. So let's have at it. All right. So here we have a kitchen plan out at the Ranch Remodel to get you guys oriented. You can see here, this is the main part of the kitchen here. And this back wall here. You can see we have cabinetry organized here and down here. And then we have that big old island that we talked about here, which is basically 4.5 feet by 9 feet. So it's up there, closing in on 50 square feet. And then we have this whole line of cabinetry down here. So, and then we have some additional cabinetry along the wall here, some wall here. And remember, this is a remodel, so some of the things we kind of had to live with, some of the things we were able to, change. But, with every project, there's limits. You either have this or that. So anyways, we'll get into that. So here you go. When I look at kitchens, a couple things are at play. One, I'm looking for, where's that main corridor? How do I get through the kitchen publicly? So you can see that right here. So whether I'm coming in from the garage and bringing groceries in, or I'm coming in from the house, or moving across it, I have that kind of assumed corridor there. The kind of cook's zone, if you will, or the way I think about it is, this is this area here and here. We'll kind of X that out. And so this allows the cook to do their thing. So they have access to the sink. They have access to the cooktop, and they have access to the refrigerator. And they don't have to go outside of their kind of zone, and nobody has to come in their zone. So this is kind of a, don't go there and do not cross that line. Public stays out here, cook stays in there. So, and then they can run around. Like I said, they have this really nice big work surface as part of the planning. Obviously, the kitchen sink is here because this is an exterior wall, and it's set up for those views out to the backyard through these windows. Of course, dishwasher is next to it. It's always interesting. You have to ask people if they're kind of lefty or righty. Some people like the dishwasher on the left, some people like it on the right. In this case, dishwasher on the right. Trash there. And then we have a Le Mans tray here, which is basically just a big cabinet that has this kind of funky tray in there that hinges on that inside corner. So it'll swing out and it'll come out here, so you get access to that blind corner. We have our induction cooktop, who Bruce, the client, just absolutely loves. He's, I was over there and he had to give me a demonstration on how fast it boils water. So pretty impressive stuff, Bruce. Pretty impressive. Just some base cabinets left and right. The refrigerator, I like to use those as kind of my end game in the kitchen. I mean, it's a good place for them. They become that kind of bookend. And then we have, the big island here, and that's broken out here were basically 3 large full extension drawers, so they come all the way out. You know, like I said in the video, I like to think of the island as kind of the kitchen dresser, if you will. You know, it's funny, as I get older, I get less impressed with doors and having to bend down and see what's in there, and drawers are just so nice and convenient. You open them up, you get the access from the top. Our cabinet maker, you know, he built in some dummy wall space here in there so that we get this nice big overhang here so that we can wrap stools around it and get seating for 5. I like to get seating when possible, kind of kitty corner, so that people can actually have conversations. You know, when you have an island that has 6 people in a row, it's kind of hard for number 1 and number 5 to have a conversation. They're constantly leaning forward to try and see down here. So the U shape is pretty effective in that. Notice that, you know, the big flat top here, again, 4.5 by 9 feet, kind of centrally located in the kitchen, which it should be. It's a kitchen island. But the nice thing is that you could take food out of the refrigerator, put it there, stage it, clean it all up in the sink, and then put it over here and stage it for cooking. So you have this kind of nice cycle that you can do stuff with there. Or if you had some stuff cooking and you needed to take that off and cook some more other stuff, then you have this place here, again, to stage some stuff. We have our door to the outside here we talked about. That takes us out to the deck. We have a beautiful grilling station out there, so we have a cabinet right here, and this has got all of Bruce's grilling tools right there in that cabinet. So you can open the door, come in, grab his tools, and go out to the grill and have at it. The clients wanted a secondary workstation, so we came up with this length of cabinetry. We have a second sink here, and it also has a second dishwasher and a second trash here, and it has its own set of windows so that you can get some view out, get some ventilation in. And then we just have a series of different cabinetries here to store glasses, dishes, all of that good stuff, because here we have this pass-through, and that goes out to the dining room. And that pass-through, if you remember in one of the past videos, if you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. But we have these synchronized pocket doors that we sent out to a craftswoman, and she did up the interior of those doors in a beautiful stained glass pattern as described by the homeowner. So just a fantastic job, and you know, one of the highlights of the kitchen. So we have that pass through, which is really nice because you can stage food here and use it for a dinner party, and then when you're cleaning the table there, you can kind of do the reverse where you use this to stage a bunch of those dirty dishes and such, and then you can come in here and you have a sink right here, throw them in the dishwasher, and then they go into the cabinetry right there. So everything kind of works along this linear, let's call it the dirty kitchen. And then lastly, inside the kitchen, we have this area here. You know, double ovens are always one of those things of, hey, where do we put it? You know, double ovens, for me, I think of it as it's, they need to be accessible, but most of the time you're putting stuff in there and it's cooking for 45 minutes or an hour or baking or whatever it is. So it doesn't need to be kind of in a hot spot in the kitchen. It just needs to be readily accessible in the kitchen. So we ended up putting it down here. We have those double ovens, and you know, just a couple steps away from, again, staging stuff on that large portion of the island there. And then we get some accessory cabinetry here to fill it all out. One of the last things with the kitchen, we all need a pantry. So just outside the kitchen here, we have a door, and it's got that beautiful rain glass, but we have a whole second level of kitchen cabinetry here. It's all done in the complementary fir. And in here, this was meant to be kind of the secondary stuff, so to the kitchen. And secondary stuff, I mean, you know, we have a microwave in the tower, we have a steamer in the tower here, we have our wine cooler, fridge there, we have a second sink. This is just a small little bar sink. And then we have this whole area that's dedicated to coffee. So the homeowner wanted their little kind of coffee bar in here. And then, of course, we have a nice window. The window is opposite the door, so we get to borrow some of that light. Glass door, translucent, also lets some of it in. This cabinet here has some really nice deep drawers. Bruce, the client, has some very large pots. He makes a hell of a chili. Don't ask me how I know. And so we actually measured his pots and made sure that we had cabinetry that can store them. And then lastly, off of the pantry, we have a small little mop closet. And the mop closet is, you know, that's all those things that, you know, brooms, buckets, all of that stuff, vacuum cleaner, all that stuff that you're trying to find a home for. Well, we found a home for it. We have a little mop closet there. So mop closet, it's connected to the pantry. Pantry's connected to the kitchen. Kitchen's connected to the deck. It's connected to the garage, and it's connected to the house. It's connected to the dining room. You know, that kitchen really tends to become what I call the town square, right? Everything happens in the kitchen. That's where everything goes on. People want to congregate, etc. And while I put that town square there, one thing to mention too is, you know, we have our stove venting directly to the outside. In the outside, we have this kind of dirty little corner. That's where we have our generators, our AC units, all out there. They're all fenced in a nice little place there. So it works well that the ventilation to our kitchen also dumps out in that area there where you can't see it on the outside. So overall, that's the kitchen plan and the thoughts that went into that layout. So hopefully you enjoyed the tour. All right, everybody. So time to put Big Red to bed. I know. It's that poet in me. Comes out every once in a while. I know you guys enjoy it. I just can't emotionally concur with your thoughts. So I have to let that one slide. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Doing kitchens, it is one of my favorite things to do. I love laying out kitchens. This one was exceptionally fun because we got to play with some good materials. Got to play with some fur. We had a good sized kitchen, so we got to play with all different kinds of cabinet styles and functions. So it was a good deal. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you're looking for more, you find me on Instagram, Steve Basic Architect. You can also find my daughter, Alexandra Bazek. She's on Instagram also. She works with me. She's actually has her master's degree in architecture that she reminds me almost daily of. But anyways, and we're putting up good things there, so follow along and find us there. And lastly, if you're still looking for more, then you can find me on the Unbuilded Podcast. I team up with my good buddy Jake and Peter, and we talk about all kinds of stuff building science, business, techniques, concepts. We break them down, we tell jokes, we pick on Peter, and we have fun doing it all. So go check us out. Unbuild It Podcast every other week. And then lastly, go check out some of those previous videos. Ranch Remodel, I've been out there for almost a year doing videos. So there's a lot of good stuff that was precursor to this kitchen, and get to see how the whole project came together. So you know what the science says. You got to watch these videos about 7 times before you actually get the knowledge, all of it, out of the video. So go check it out. Check out my buddies Jake, Wade, Brent, and Matt, all putting up great stuff, all for free too. You don't get a better education than that. You can sit there and learn from the pros, putting up information that is stuff they were doing this week. It's not history. It's work in the making, and we're shooting these videos. So go enjoy it. But until next time, long live our buildings.